So when cutting your length here, I had marked it on the front side, transferred that to the back, taped it off. Where the backsplash part is, right here, you want to use a circular saw and cut all the way up, all the way through, because you don't want to hang it on this part. It's pretty fragile, easy to break. And then you cut from that edge back this way to get to your length for the countertop. Trim the length here. We're lining up the sink as best as we can. We have just 2 base cabinets. This is a really little kitchen. We lined it up with the original top cabinet, so that's what we could. It's off to the side some, it's really little, so it's hard to get both of those in the picture. Centered it up, like I said, best we could. Piece on this side, and I cannot move the sink any further over without cutting into the hardware for this drawer to slide. So I'll leave this up here. I measured the same distance off the back on both sides and mark that first line. You always want to tape it out, because when we cut this, you want it to not mess up your countertop surface. This is just laminate. It will chip very easy if you do not tape that surface. I marked it, went along it, came in the corners, and drilled the holes here. I'm actually going to flip it over and mark from these holes to the hole in the back, and I'm going to use a circular saw to cut along this as much as I can. Drilled, I just marked it from edge to edge on the outside, and use a circular saw as much as I can on that. If you can see here, I cut just on the inside of the line. Especially dealing with countertops, they're expensive, so you can always go back and trim just a smidge as need be. You can't really add any material back later. There shows how we've cut most of the way. I was hitting the edge, so, but then that leaves this supported. I can flip it over. I can actually put one of the sawhorses like right here in the middle, and then as I cut these out, it's still supported as I cut the corners out. And it takes a long time to cut something like this with a jigsaw. The material has so much glue in it, it likes to get stuck and pop the blade. I'm going to put my hand back here and help support it away from where I'm cutting. There we have it. So as I'm setting it up here, everything drops in except for we're just a little bit tight on this back edge, right? When I measured up front here, it measures the same from here to there. So I'm gonna trim on that back corner and see what we got is just right here. I trimmed it where that piece isn't sticking up. We'll see how that works. Bring it into place, put it on that edge. That edge right there. There it goes. What we have here is a Tuscany. It's just a cheap sink kit. Top mount. It comes with the strainers, the handle, the sprayer, the sink, all the hardware to put it in. So it was just an easier route to go when grabbing something quick. So as I'm taking this tape off, you can see it's got just a small amount of chipping right on the edge. Got some plumber's putty. Roll it as it starts getting warm. It gets easier to work with. This will actually be what goes and the inside for your seal. So you put it right around this. It doesn't take a whole lot. And I'll slide this from the bottom. On the bottom, your rubber gasket doesn't go on the top, it goes on the bottom. And then what looks like the second gasket, it's a little piece of cardboard. All that actually does is that keeps this from digging into the rubber piece. So this will still slip across the cardboard a lot easier than it will that rubber gasket as it mashes out. It should spin pretty free on there. And now just move over to the other one. And you can do this under the sink. You pretty much just do it opposite. But when you're leaning through the cabinet doors with your back up against the ledge in the bottom of the cabinet, it's kind of uncomfortable. So it's just a lot easier if you're installing a new sink to do it while it's sitting out here. This O-ring was just sitting there, I just pushed it in. So you gotta make sure the O-ring's in place. Put it the one way, then the other. Like that. You don't want to do too much, but you can push these copper pipes around. Make sure that O-ring's still there. Slide that down. That just seals it. These pieces on here. Now it calls out to put silicone on this right here. Run a bead of silicone. There. And then we also have this other piece. There. Just run that right through there. This one here actually just pops into place. Along this edge, that would be good. There's more underneath here to support because we cut so much out with